Hi there, in this video we're taking a look at the June 2025 release of Tabular Editor and the new features we've included. We're looking at three things: native support for DirectLake on OneLake, how to build composite models with Tabular Editor 3 that includes both DirectLake on OneLake and import mode tables, and finally, how Power BI Desktop now allows third-party tools like Tabular Editor to make any changes to the semantic model. The first feature we're taking a look at in this video is the native support for DirectLake on OneLake that has been introduced in Tabular Editor 3.22.0. DirectLake on OneLake is a new storage format that Microsoft introduced and which is now supported in Tabular Editor 3. We've made it straightforward to connect to your lakehouse or your warehouse in your Fabric environment and create this new type of model. Just to recap, semantic models historically come in three different flavors: import mode, direct query, or composite models. Now, Microsoft with Fabric introduced a new storage mode called DirectLake on SQL. And it has now improved a new flavor of this storage mode called DirectLake on OneLake. DirectLake on OneLake connects directly to your OneLake in Fabric and provides some enhancements over DirectLake on SQL, such as native integration with your OneLake security. And in this release, we have ensured that Fabric items and DirectLake models are simple to connect to and create in Tabular Editor 3. Let's take a look on my screen on how it's done. I have Tabular Editor 3 open here, and I'm going to create a new model by going to the File, New Model dialog box. For your convenience, we've added some DirectLake guidance here with a link to our doc site, which allows us to see a little bit about and understand the different kind of storage modes that I talked about just now and how they interact with each other, and what the difference are between DirectLake on OneLake and DirectLake on SQL. We'll not get into detail about that, but take a look at the docs to understand it more fully. So I'm going to create a new model here, and I'm going to give it a name: Release 3.22.0 Video. I have the compatibility level set to the highest that is currently available, 1609, so that it includes all new features in Power BI and Fabric. And I'm using a workspace mode to deploy my model directly into a workspace in Fabric. We're connecting to the server, and we're going to connect to my workspace and give this workspace database the same name. The first thing we want to do is to import some new tables, and this is where we've made improvements in 3.22.0. So when I right-click on my model object and say import tables, or go up into model, import tables, and now in the menu of within the implicit data sources, so those data sources that are managed by Fabric and Power BI Service, I now have the option to choose Microsoft Fabric Lakehouse or Microsoft Fabric Warehouse. Both will work in creating DirectLake on OneLake models. In this case, I'm going to choose the Lakehouse, click Next, and confirm my identity up against Fabric. This new interface looks at all the different lakehouses and gives you a list of all those that you have available. If you have a lot available, I can right-click here and say Show Find Panel so that I can start searching for the various lakehouses I would like to use. So I'm going to choose my Space Parts Lakehouse here, and I'm going to choose from a list of tables and views. And I can now here use the interface to preview my schema of my lakehouse, as well as the underlying tables themselves. So I can see what kind of data I have in it, and I can choose a selection of tables that I want to bring in. So I'm going to bring in my brands, and I'm going to bring in my orders tables. Click Next. And finally, we have a drop-down box, which allows us to take a view at the type of models that I can create using this lakehouse. So I can choose between DirectLake on OneLake, DirectLake on SQL, and import mode. And with that, I have in one click created a DirectLake model. As we can see from the properties, I have a DirectLake table, or two tables here, and we can also see that up in the top here it says DirectLake has the type of model that I've created. I can now totally interact with my model same way that I've been interacting with any other model that I have. Create relationships, create measures, batch rename, and all those things that you can do inside Tabular Editor 3. The second feature that I want to show you, that is the ability to create composite models on your Direct Lake on OneLake models. So one of the advantages of Direct Lake on OneLake is that you can combine that storage format with regular import tables. This could be, for example, be very useful for smaller dimensional tables, so you can reap the benefits of either storage mode, that is, having the dimension tables available in import mode where you can create calculated columns, and at the same time having your large fact tables in Direct Lake mode so that they're always updated with the newest data. So let's take a look at how we can quickly create a composite model using Tabular Editor 3. I still have the same model, so the Direct Lake model, and I now want to take some tables in import mode instead of having those in Direct Lake mode. So I can again choose my import table wizard, choose the existing source that I have, and when I click through to my lakehouse, I can choose different parts or different tables that I would like to have for these import tables. Click next, and this time, instead of choosing Direct Lake on OneLake, I can now see that I also have an option to choose import mode. And I can choose that, click finish, and I now have a composite model which consists of both Direct Lake on OneLake tables as well as 2 import tables. Besides these labeling, there are also physical differences between the different tables. So if we look at an import mode table, we can, for example, look at the partition and see that it has a regular M expression that is using to pull in the data. Whereas the Direct Lake on OneLake partition does not have any M code, but down in the options has the reference to the expression source database query, as well as which entity it should take out and the mode of table partition. So we can also see in our shared expression that this is a database query which has been created for the OneLake integration. And this uses a different syntax than our import model, using this Azure storage data lake to connect to the lakehouse and access the data. This is a really interesting scenario of using different types of modes, which will be important in building in the future these Direct Lake models, as there are both advantages and disadvantages to the different storage modes, and it can make sense to do this kind of mix and match to ensure that you get the full range of possibilities of your model that you need. The third part that I would like to highlight in this update video is actually less of a change to Tabular Editor 3 itself, but rather a change to Power BI Desktop. So with the June 2025 release of Power BI Desktop, they have now removed all modeling restrictions that third-party tools can make against the semantic model that is hosted in Power BI Desktop. Before June 2025, as we can see from this table, there were some objects that could not be edited or created in Tabular Editor 3 when it was connected as an external tool to Power BI Desktop. Those were tables and M expressions. With this change, Power BI Desktop now actually allows any type of change that you can think of to make, not only to tables and M expressions, but also you can add multiple partitions to Power BI Desktop models, something that was previously not possible. It would simply break Power BI Desktop. But that is now actually possible. And this is a really important change, especially for the users of the desktop edition of Tabular Editor 3, as you now have a much wider range of possible actions you can do against your model that is hosted in Power BI Desktop. How does this look in practice? Well, if we look here, I have a report with a model in, and I can open up Tabular Editor as an external tool and have all my model metadata showed. Now I can actually get rid of these, for example, local date tables without worrying about breaking my underlying model. I can rename my brands table to brands new, as well as add a few partitions to it if I wanted to. Saving these changes to Power BI Desktop does not break my model list. Maybe it breaks my report, but I can fix that afterwards. A little bonus that I wanted to show you with regards to the new release is that we've actually also improved our DAX code autocomplete. You don't anymore have to remember the whole name or exactly how the name is in order to use autocomplete, because we introduced better accommodation for partial names. So, for example, if I want to write a new measure, here, go over into my expression editor, and I need to kind of find my net sales, net, so I know it's something net and it's something with dollars. And instead of having to figure out what it actually was called, I can just start writing net, and I can also go on and say net dollars, and it will show me all of those partial completes. And I can choose the right measure that I would like to have in there. So this is just a little tiny update that makes it a lot easier to use the DAX autocomplete inside Tabular Editor 3. Now that was it for this release video of Tabular Editor 3.2022. As always, have fun making data models, automate the boring stuff.